Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Ask the Pros Business, where we speak to entrepreneurs, professionals, they come on the show, share their journey, their story, how they started in a way, to help people that want to get into business as well, and on this particular episode, I've got Bharat here. Bharat is from the States. He's going to come here, share his journey, tell us his story, how he started. You can do what I'm doing, or you can do something better. And Bharat, on this show, we always start from the beginning, which means, telling us how you started. For you, how did this whole journey start for you?
Thanks, Casina. I appreciate you having me. I came to the States from India when I was 17 for my college, undergrad, and I went to Wisconsin, graduated in 4 years, and then got my first job as an appraiser in valuations. And that's how I've been in valuations for the last 20 years, and I've been fortunate or unfortunate to be able to value all kinds of interesting or unique assets in the world.
Nice, 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 good. Now you say you just mentioned assets. Now what was the driving force behind that? What motivated you to you know pick that niche to say?
Um, I think the niche picked me. You know,
Nice.
I it was a just an act of God. I That's something I stumbled into. You don't go to undergraduate or college to become a valuation expert. You become an evaluation expert by doing valuations. So yeah, it was just serendipitous. It was just, the business found me.
Okay. When you say the business found you, is interesting as well, because sometimes, you know, we can have certain passion. If you have passion for something, you say, okay, this is my passion. But for you, you know, to say it wasn't a passion, or it was just that, like you said, God, led you to the business found you. But is this something you were passionate about? Because you can also have other passions as well.
Yeah, that's a great question. So I'm an engineer, but even as an engineer, I was always curious to know what things cost. Engineers can make things very complicated, but that's not good engineering. Good engineering's got to be reliable, it's got to be strong, it's got to be efficient. And by efficient, I mean the least amount of resources should be going into developing any kind of product or asset that engineers develop. So I was always interested to in the business side of engineering. In fact, in college, I used to be president of this organization called Students Uniting Business and Engineering, called SUBI. And maybe that what gave me a taste of valuations and how to marry that. So once I graduated with an engineering degree, that's the first job I found, to be a valuation expert for engineering projects, roads, bridges, highways, tunnels, etc.
Okay, nice, good one. So you found the business found you to say, so sometimes when we want to get into business, you also think about, what you want to call this business, or you want to form a company. So what is the name of your company? Because starting a company, you also want to think about, okay, what am I going to call this company? What was the drive? What will be the driving force behind this company? What's going to motivate, this name, or, like to say, the driving force behind this name? Starting this business now. What was this business called?
So my company's name is Verystrat. And Verystrat is, Veri, Veri, and Strat, Strat. So Veri is really short for verity or veritas, which means truth. And Strat is short for strategy. And strategy has now become a very commoditized term, but it really isn't. strategy is thinking long-term consequences of a plan and then planning an attack. It's kind of like playing chess. Nowadays, when people talk about strategy, they are considering more in terms of playing checkers, but that's not what strategy is. Strategy is, think of um, Napoleon and his generals, huddling over a table and looking at prints of a battlefield, right? That's what generals are doing. So that's a strategy session. So yeah, the name is very Strat, and it's a mixture of truth and strategy.
Nice, man. It's a very, would I say, not complicated, but it's a very well taught name.
Thank you.
You sort of like, you knew what you wanted to do, and you sort of like you handpicked everything, and every thought into the name as well. Now going to value engineering, like you said, like you value assets or bridges or houses or or structures. Does everything that is engineered, okay, let me put this way, does every bridges or buildings, do they have value? Is there a value tied to that building or bridge?
Everything has a value, um, and everything might have multiple values. There could be a valuation for accounting. There could be a valuation for insurance. There could be a valuation for a transaction, or there could be a valuation for taxes. So one object, so say for example, if I am looking at this cup, you see the blank side of this cup.
Mm-hmm.
I see the printed side of this cup.
Okay.
Somebody on this side sees the handle. Somebody on this side sees the top.
Yeah.
It's the same cup, but 3 or 4 vantage points.
Mm.
Similarly, when you look at valuation of an object, it's the same object, but depending on how you look at it for tax or for accounting or for insurance or for deal, there could be 4 different values.
Okay, nice. So in valuing that, let's, okay, for instance, now you've picked that cup now, in valuing that cup now, what would you say would be the most valuable, would I say, equity or financial gain, from all the angles we've looked at the cup now, what is the best angle to get the best price, for that cup?
That really depends on the vantage point. Say, for example, um, BMW 7 Series, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Very iconic car, right? But when they redesigned the BMW 7 Series, if you remember, in 2002, 2003, remember, they had uh, redesigned the entire body to the current body. Some people liked it, some people were okay with it, and some people hated it.
Yeah.
So value is in the eye of the beholder. So if somebody were to sell me Mona Lisa, I couldn't care. Like, yeah, so. But for some people, it's worth a lot of money. Some people, are looking at the angle, trying to analyze what he or she was thinking, are they smiling? I'm like, I don't really care. For me, it's worth 0. But for people, it's worth a lot of money. So value is really dependent on the vantage point or the beholder.
Yeah, and to add to that as well, like if you take, going back to the example of the car, like the antique cars, some antique cars are way expensive, like but some guys will probably say, okay, an antique car, I don't really care about that. I'd rather go for a Tesla because Tesla will save me more money. It will. You might invest a lot of money in it initially, but in the long run, it probably save you, gas and all that, a lot of stuff, going around it. But with the antique car, you say it's a big engine, could be a diesel engine or a petrol engine, but it's a big engine, and you said, I don't want that. The Tesla will give me more value. Like you said, depends on your mind and how you look at it, and maybe your particular need at that particular time, right?
Exactly. Exactly. For example, Bitcoin, you know,
Mm-hmm.
Bitcoin went from, 10 cents to $19,000 to $6,000. And today is what, at 46,000?
Yeah,
Why?
I think Elon Musk put some billions in it, didn't he?
He did. He just, I think, purchased Bitcoin, $1.5 billion worth, and that shot the value. So it's just one of those feedback loops that the more people get into it, the more people are doing it, the more people doing it. And but what I don't understand about Bitcoin is anything that you might invest in, it's got to be income generating, or you should be able to sell it for something in the future. Um, Bitcoin, people are only investing because others will invest into Bitcoin. I don't know. Maybe that's smart. I just don't get it.
Yeah, good. Now you just mentioned something about, if you want to invest in something that you'll be able to sell or reinvest in. When it comes to like, if let's take a particular bridge, an iconic bridge, let's say like the San Francisco Bridge, for example, that bridge, it's an iconic bridge. Are you are you trying to say that that bridge, if you put your money into it right now, is this something you can sell off in the future and you get more money for it?
Yeah, I mean, you can't sell the bridge, but a asset like that, for example, a Rolex watch, right? If you buy a vintage Rolex watch, you might buy it for your personal use, and then the price doesn't matter. If you buy it as an investment, you are first trying to get a good deal because you make money when you buy, not when you sell, as Warren Buffett says. And then you're thinking about how much I might be able to sell it for, and in how much time. Time is also important, right? So if it takes you 10 years to sell it, well, I don't know if it's worth it. But if you can sell it for a quick profit in a short duration of time, well, that might be a good story.
Yeah, nice. What you're doing is quite it's quite like a niche kind of business, But in terms of building those brand and building this business, what is the thing that sets you apart from other people doing the same thing you're doing, or something different, or something close to what you're doing as well? How do you build this brand? How did you kind of like carve this niche? And you're different. Your business is different, and your services are different as well. What is that thing that sets you apart?
I've been fortunate to have been valued, very unique assets in the world. And I am not a traditional valuation expert who thinks just in a tunnel vision. I think differently and I think outside the box. And that's why I have been able to value some of the most unique assets in the world, because they are unique. And the traditional methods of valuation may or may not apply. So you got to be innovative and be able to come up with a methodology that is suitable to valuing that asset.
Okay, cool. So you're valuing assets, you're doing this is great, but do you have like a website or like a social media page that someone can go into and looking it and maybe see you doing whatever you're doing, talking about your business, how you do your business as well, how you carry out your evaluation and all that, is there somewhere someone can go, in terms of website or a social media page?
Yes. So I have a YouTube channel called What's It Worth. If you can share the link of that in the description. And I created that channel to educate business owners on one, what are the trends in their business to understand that. Two, what are the rules of thumb to value their business, like a quick and dirty or a back of the envelope type of evaluation, like a ballpark.
Mhm.
And three, what can a owner do in a short period of time to increase their business's value? So I am like the magician who is giving away the magician's code to people that, hey, This is how I do magic, or this is what I will be looking for when I am valuing your business. So these are the things you want to improve.
Nice. And when did you start this YouTube page?
I started in August of 2020.
August of 2020. Before the YouTube page, how are you getting your customers or your leads? How are you generating leads before the YouTube
That's a
page?
great question. So before the YouTube page, I had spent actually a lot of time and money and effort um, into SEO, into PR, into conferences, sponsorships, email marketing, networking. I mean, you name it, I did everything, right? And I had spent like $150,000 over 3 years for marketing. And the result was marginal at best. So, and every SEO person, every PR person I'd hire, they'd come and tell me after the first 3 months, after making them payments for the first 3 months, right? Because they're always charged on retainer.
Yep.
They would come and say that, we need content. You haven't given us content, and 3 months have passed.
Oh.
And I paid them for the 3 months. And I would go, well, you should have told me 3 months ago that you needed content. But nevertheless, I will start now giving you content. So then I start working, and my team starts working and building and developing content. And then after developing content, they want more content. And then they would say, oh, your content is not good enough. You got to do this. Oh, you got to do this. And even then, the results would be marginal, because every month, every 3 months, they would come up with excuses for why we are not getting proper leads. So after doing this for 3 years and losing time and sleep over it, I decided to take the matter in my own hands. And I researched and I learned, and I understood that content is king.
Absolutely.
The sexiness of your website doesn't matter. The color of your website doesn't matter. Nobody gives a shit about your logo, right? Nobody gives a shit about how cool you are or your team. Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Content is king. And video content is king of kings.
Yeah.
So I said, I'm going to invest in video content.
And that was when YouTube was in the spotlight.
That's right. So I said, fuck everything else. I'm going to only invest in video content, and I'm going to write this content myself. So that's what I did. And since then, our SEO has improved.
Good.
And marketing has improved. People know me. People contact me. People understand where I'm coming from. And even before people meet me, after they have seen my videos, they feel like they know me.
There's that relationship, element of it, and being relatable as well.
Precisely. So if you've seen 1 or 2 of my videos, you see how I talk, you see how I act, you see if I'm authentic or not, and you have a judgment that if you like me or not. And if they like me, they call me and they want to work with me. And if they don't like me, well, no big deal.
Yeah. Other thing I can suggest, you're right, absolutely right that, video is the king of kings, but have you ever thought about audio?
I have the face for radio. So I decided on YouTube because I'm a visual person. Nowadays, if I want to learn anything, I just go to YouTube and watch 5 or 10 videos on whatever subject I want to learn about. And I appreciate visual effects. And I'm not saying visual effects like, people jumping and all that, but
Yeah, I get.
pictures,
Yeah, I get what you
pictures speak 1,000 words.
does.
So if when I've learned things on YouTube, I figured others might also appreciate learning from YouTube. And YouTube was video content. So I just said, okay, it's visual, it's video content, it helps my SEO. That's what I did.
Yeah, and to add to that, YouTube is one of like Google owns YouTube, so YouTube is a huge search engine. Anything you're looking for, University of YouTube is it, man? Is the right place to go. You know.
YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world.
Yeah, it is.
So that's okay. I'll take the second.
I also noticed that your LinkedIn as well. Do you get leads from LinkedIn as well, or LinkedIn is just for just a profile page?
No, LinkedIn is my professional profile, and I use it quite a bit for networking. I have some good connections on LinkedIn, and people have been most kind. So no, I use LinkedIn for business all the time, and I always use it for referring others as well. So if you come to me and you're like, hey, I need so and so person I would love to meet, I always look through my network and see who I can introduce somebody to.
Yeah, nice one, good one. So going back to YouTube, like when you had the idea of you want to start creating content for YouTube, how do you come up with your scripts, with your topic? What area of your business do you focus on to send the message out?
So I instead of focusing on me, I try to focus on business owners. And I think about different types of businesses that are out there: landscaping, construction, roofing, accounting practice, law firms, landscape, what have you. And I try to write original content, um, which are my thoughts, and I create it in a way that it will help the business owner, not valuation people. You want to be creating content that actually helps the owner of the business. So if you watch my videos, they're very short. They're 5 to 7 minutes.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see
Um,
that. Yeah.
they're very concise, and they're full of information. I mean, every shot I'm giving some information. I'm not rambling and talking about myself. Nobody gives a shit about me. I'm trying to help people. So every shot, every sentence that I write, I'm trying to make a point. And they're entertaining. Hey, it's visual. It's entertaining.
Yeah, nice, nice. I'm looking at your YouTube page now. I like the fact that you've used the gold color, a gold color. What was the reason behind that?
Oh, it's the color of money.
I knew, but I just wanted to find out. I can see. It's a very well thought out page. There's like your business name as well. You really put a lot of strategy into this as well, and I see that there's really something good going on there.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's nice, 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 nice. Now, in the long run, with YouTube and creating content, do you plan to how do you plan to release your videos, like the days, how do you plan to get this message out? Is it on a weekly basis, on a daily basis? How do you plan to do this? Because I see that your videos are like every other week.
Every week.
Yes.
So I push my videos at uh, 7 a.m. US Pacific time, which is 3 p.m. London time, on every Tuesday. So I push my videos every Tuesday, 3 p.m. UK time. Um, and I've been doing that for the last 22 weeks. And hopefully I will continue on this journey.
Yeah, nice. So for the benefit of those that will listen to this podcast, listen to you, they are not in the in the US, out of the states, you know, can you also work with people outside America, or it's just within the states that you work with?
I have done valuations in all different parts of the world. So I have done valuations if we keep going west. So I have done valuations, of course, in America, in Canada, in Mexico, in Japan, China, Hawaii, Guam, India, Germany, Egypt, UAE, um, UK, and that's it.
So do all these evaluations, do they require your presence?
Some do, some don't. So if I am appraising or valuing a business where I can get data on spreadsheets, I don't need to visit. But sometimes I need to visit to interview the business owner or the management. So there I prefer to do a on-site visit. Or I do a lot of lecturing and presentations in different parts of the world. And then of course I have to travel, but there has not been much travel in the last 1 year, as you can imagine. So I
Yeah.
miss it a little bit, but at the same time I get to spend time with my family. So it's a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, it is. It is absolutely. What would you say, is the best, lesson learned or best advice, you've gotten so far?
um how about routine? Things that you do every day makes the biggest difference in your world. So the most important thing is have a routine. Doesn't matter what time you wake up. Try to wake up early, but wake up at the same time every day. Eat lunch at the same time every day. You know, um, have a set time to work. Have a set time to play. Have a set time to spend time with your wife, with your kids. Have a routine, and especially in this pandemic when we're all sitting at home, it's very easy to develop bad habits or not have a routine. So that's my advice.
Yeah. And if someone, approaches you and said, Bharat, I listened to your podcast, or I watched the video on YouTube, and I want to start a business like what you're doing as well, what will be the advice to that person?
If they want to start a business, most people start a business thinking that, hey, this is what I'm good at and this is what I can do. And wouldn't it be cool to have this? And they start a business. The first thing they forget is customer demand. If there's no demand for your product or your services, nobody's going to buy it. So instead of focusing on you or what you can do or what cool thing you can invent, which nobody gives a shit about, why don't you think about what the customer wants, what the customer needs, what's missing in the market? If an entrepreneur or an owner or a founder starts with that, they have won half the battle.
Yeah. And there's this saying, to be in business, you have to be making money. So if you're not making money, that means that business is as good as dead.
Yeah, absolutely.
Barat, man, it's been a nice show, having this conversation with you, and to go with this, and with whatever you're doing as well, what is that thing you want to leave behind, talking about now legacy, I know you're into valuation of structures and bridges and buildings
And
and all that,
businesses.
and businesses as well, you know what do you want your legacy to look like?
Um, I think at heart, I'm an educator. I like to educate people. I like to, why I enjoy my YouTube channel is that I'm very good at breaking things down and making them simple and explaining them to people in a way that they can understand. So I enjoy that. And if my legacy is being a good educator, well, that's not a bad legacy.
Yeah, like that. what would be that? What would be your last word to people listening to this? Last thing, they'll listen to, and they would say, Bara said this, and this is gonna stick with me for a long time. What was that thing?
um, uh, if you believe in something, do it every day, and you will start seeing results. Consistency in everything is key. So have a routine and keep doing what you're doing on a consistent basis. You will see results.
Thanks, Bharat, man. Absolutely. Now, guys want to get in touch with you. And I know your LinkedIn or your LinkedIn. Social media. Where's the best place for them to catch you?
The best way to reach me is go to YouTube and search for What's It Worth, Bharat, or put in my name, Bharat Kanodia. And it'll pop up, and you can find my email through my YouTube channel and reach out to me. Happy to help in any way I can.
Absolutely, man. Thanks, man. It's been a wonderful, conversation with you. Love every bit of it, you know. And I'm also grateful for the time as well, because I know now time is precious, but for you to take out time, to be on the show, thanks for that.
Thanks, Gus. I appreciate you having me, man.
Yeah, no worries. All right. Nice one.